Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Manahir Forest Valley and I'm delighted to welcome you all today. I'm from Karachi, Pakistan. We have truly remarkable individual with us. A person whose journey is not only inspiring but has also touched the lives of many. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Miss Lesley Evans. Today we have the privilege of delving into Miss Leslie's life journey, filled with experiences that have led her to become an international speaker and best-selling author. With her book "DeFUNK Yourself," she has empowered countless individuals to overcome challenges and embrace their passions. Miss Leslie blend of modern and magical therapies path to solve this problem. Let's delve right in ongoing chapters of Miss Leslie's life from her early days to her remarkable achievements. Her wisdom, transformative moments that have shaped her into extraordinary person she is today. Miss Leslie, it is an honor to have you here with us. Welcome, Miss. How are you?
I am doing fabulously. How are you doing?
I'm also good. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And please introduce yourself for my viewers.
Okay, my name is Lesley Evans. As you heard in my bio, I help uh, mostly women, but I'll help both men and women, but women to give themselves permission to be limitless and just to know that they have endless possibilities. And we just often don't give ourselves permission to do that. So I do that with both modern and alternative therapies. I am a psychiatric nurse therapist. I have been for over 30 years. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, soul care coach, which means I work in the Akashic Records, and I'm also a Reiki master. And so I combine all of those things and just help women to be and create the most amazing life that they want.
Great. Thank you so much for your introduction. My first question is on your screen. How did your career transition from a registered psychiatric nurse therapist to an international speaker and best-selling author come about?
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to share that. So, I worked in our public health system for over 25 years. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I came to, you know, as nurses, we tend to be givers. We give and we give and we give. We give to our work and our family. We work through breaks and those kinds of things. And I actually worked a lot and gave to my family. And in the beginning of 2020, January actually, just before we know that COVID hit, I came down with vertigo. And so I had to stop everything. I couldn't work. I couldn't be there for my family. I couldn't do all those things that I would normally do. And then COVID came, and so all of those things I was doing to treat that stopped because really the whole world stopped for a little while there, right? And so as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, and I got a little bit of relief, but it never really went away. I just sat down one day and I just said, "Universe, I'm you've stopped me completely. What do I need to know?" And when I was able to just sit down and accept where I was instead of fighting it, synchronistic things happened, and I was able to connect on a summit with a gal that helped me write my best selling book and publish it. Because I wanted to contribute. I wasn't contributing in the regular way. And so I wrote the book, Defunk Yourself, which is just tips to guide people out of the funk they're in, or if they're having a hard time moving forward. And then from there, it just grew into speaking. And so I've spoken internationally, absolutely. So that's where that went.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your answer. So my second question is on your screen. Could you summarize the main message of your book, Defunk Yourself?
Absolutely. So I wrote "Defunk Yourself" in 2020, and it was published in 2021. And really, I think a lot of the world was kind of in this funk, or this, feeling overwhelmed and feeling low because of everything that was going on. And so "Defunk Yourself" is 11 very simple tips to help you to move forward, to help you to become unstuck, to help you to be motivated, reduce the overwhelm. So there's 11 tips in there. Like I said, I was a therapist, or have been a therapist, for over 30 years. So I tried to just bring my top tips that I felt would be really easy for people to use and to read, and to be able to start moving forward and feel better.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your answer. My next question is also on your screen. How do you define empowerment in your approach to helping overwhelmed individuals?
Okay, so for me, empowerment, in this case, for sure, is really the belief in themselves, the belief that they have the power to be able to work through overwhelming anxiety, and that they're worth it. So the empowerment is just feeling the worthiness of working through those things that are overwhelming or making you anxious, and believing that you can do it, and taking the steps knowing you have the power to do those things for yourself.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. My next question is: what inspired you to combine modern and magical therapies in your work?
Excellent question. Well, for me, like I said, I worked in the public health system for over 25 years. And, I helped a lot of people during that time. But what I noticed is, we just using those traditional systems, we kind of kept people in this loop of never getting fully well. They got better, but never fully well. And it wasn't until I myself experienced more of that stress, and the vertigo, and also the overwhelm, and some pretty big life changes, that I really came into contact with the magical, or the alternative therapies. And what I found there is that people heal at a more profound, lasting level, and they don't need to keep in this continuous loop. They don't need to be in therapy for years and years. They can heal fairly quickly, and at a deeper level, and more lasting.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. My next question is: how do you guide people in overcoming guilt and discovery their patients?
Oh, this is a really big one, I think, especially for a lot of women. The guilt can be quite incredible, and so I use a few things. One of them is, I have a background in CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And so there are some lovely tools that are quite easy to use, and can help you to start challenging those thoughts of guilt, and start challenging those thoughts that you go last, and that everyone else's needs go first. And so I use that, and I combine that also with hypnotherapy, which we can go, in a hypnotherapy session, we can really find where that guilt started in your life, and we can heal that piece, and bring that forward, so you can take a lot of that guilt off your shoulders from that way. And with the Akashic records, we can heal that from a soul level. Oh, and discovering your passion. I think you're right. There was two parts to that question. So the second part of that question is, once we start to overcome that guilt, we can start to understand that we have things that we love to do, and things that inspire us. And I'll use my example, that I was one of these people that sacrificed myself for the good of everyone else. including my girls. And what I found was I started teaching my kids that that's what they should do too, that they should come last. And that's not what I wanted for my children. I wanted my children to understand that they should live lives full of passion, full of what they love to do, and that they shouldn't give that up for the people around them. And so I made that choice to start to discover the things that I love. And so not only do I do this from, a professional point of view, I do this from my own experience in letting go of that guilt of not, of trying to be there for everyone, but also discovering who I am, what I like, what lights me up, what makes me passionate. And there, you just really start small. Don't try and take it all on at once. Start with small steps and just really start to find out the things you like. And if you don't know, try some things. Try some things that sound like they might be fun, and just start there with just taking small steps to really discover that, what you love and what lights you up. And I promise you it's worth it, but not just for you, for the people you love too, because they have all of you when you are living a life full of passion, not just parts of you, not just what's left. And they thrive and they have wonderful lives because you're showing them how to do that.
All right, wonderful answer. Uh, so now let's move on to next question. My next question is, can you share an example of someone whose life was transformed through your teachings?
Absolutely. I worked with a gal who called herself an overwhelmed grandmother, and she had taken on care of her granddaughter, and she just really had this history of, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like she needed to be there for everyone. She needed to be a certain way for the people that are in her life, and she felt quite out of control. That other people had control of her life and not her. And so when we worked together, we did some group work and some individual sessions, and she was able to start putting some of those tools into place to reduce that overwhelm and anxiety in the moment, to be able to start taking steps to create a life where she felt in control. And then we also did a lot of work on boundaries, on what to expect out of her relationships. And if she wasn't getting what she wanted out of them, that it was okay to either limit or not have those relationships in her life. And I'm telling you, the change that it made for her to start believing in herself and understanding her worth. She instead of kind of being this person overwhelmed by all the things that she felt were out of her control, she took control of what she could. And then she started to thrive. She manifested a home for her and her granddaughter. And then she, manifested a job that worked within the hours that she was able to work, and has manifested contacts to be able to start build this life that she wants to build. And it's been an amazing beautiful transition to see, taking control over what she could, and building a life that she was way happier with.
That's great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing this. My next question is, what notable changes have you observed in clinical hypnotherapy and soul care during your career?
Okay, so there's a couple of things. I'll talk a little bit about the clinical hypnotherapy, and often, if somebody wants me to, I'll go into the Akashic records either before or during hypnotherapy. But some of the huge things that I've seen with hypnotherapy are, I had one client who just could not receive compliments. Like, it made her anxious to even think about having compliments. And after 2 sessions, we were able to find out where that started, which was when she was a young girl. And, all of these different times in her life where she, as a young girl, saw things differently than what they were. And so in hypnotherapy, we could heal that and then start to see the things as an adult and heal that little girl. And I'm telling you, she's not only accepting compliments, people are noticing the change in her and being more confident when she's speaking and putting herself out there more. And the other thing with the hypnotherapy is I had uh, a small business owner, painter, who was, his business it was getting a little bit quiet. It'd been running fairly well, but really quiet. So we did a manifesting hypnosis. And so we sat down and we created what he wanted in his business, how much money he wanted to bring, how much he wanted to work, and really created that vision for him. And then we locked it in with hypnotherapy, which is just the way that, speaks to your subconscious mind. And he started to get calls. He started to get calls for his business. And then he noticed that he wasn't getting some of his paperwork done. He was getting kind of distracted. And so as these calls were coming in, he wasn't getting his estimates. And so we did another hypnosis. And what we found was there was kind of a piece of him that kind of, got him into trouble throughout the years, a little bit of mischief throughout the years. And so when we cleared that part, and then we were able to help him to form a new part to get things done. So now he's getting all of his paperwork done quickly. And I'm telling you, he's been, I think he's got about a 2-month wait list now for his painting business. So it's made a huge difference to him and his business to be able to do this in this way. And the Akashic records. So the Akashic records are generally, the way I can describe them is that's where your soul's journey is recorded. So when I access them on your behalf, then we can get that soul insight. So where your soul has traveled to, maybe some where it might be going and what it needs to learn. And we can gather that insight to help you now with taking the steps forward. For some people, we've definitely been able to clear some things that they just didn't even know was bothering them, or that insight into that. So been able to really, build their business better, or let go of some of a relationship that wasn't healthy, and those kinds of things can happen within the Akashic records.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing this. My next question is, how do your role as a certified care practitioner and Reiki master complement each other in your practice?
Absolutely. So, as a Reiki master, Reiki is an energy healing. And so, um, the beautiful thing about Reiki energy is that it goes exactly where it needs to for you to heal. And so the Akashic records allow me to gain, like I said before, the insight into what might be impacting your life now. It could be something that's going on now, could be a past life, whatever is impacting you. And so when we clear that, I can also help that Reiki energy to heal this physical and energetic body that's here now.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your answer. My next question is, can you explain the concept of rising from the ashes and shining light in personal transformation?
Absolutely. So as you can see, my business is called Rise of the Phoenix. And if you look at the story of the Phoenix, um, the Phoenix rises from the ashes of their old life, and so they shine brighter and they make this new, beautiful Phoenix. And so for me, when I think about even my own life of rising from the ashes, there were things that I had to go through to be who I am today. And each of those transformations, or times when it was really tough to get through, I had a lot of learning to do. And so when I think about that as kind of those ashes, I'm not letting them go. They're all part of my learning, but I have learned so much that I've been able to rise from from that time that was dark, and to be able to shine my light brighter. And so I truly believe everyone has a light to shine, and sometimes it's hard to find our own light, depending on where we are and what's happening, but it's still there. And when you find your light, it's an incredible thing, because again, sometimes we don't even feel like we're worthy of having a light. And I truly believe that you are. I truly believe that you are worthy. And that's why I feel it's important to find your light, because it's there. And then once you find it, to start learning to shine it. Because as you shine your light, you become everything that you want to be, or that you're meant to be. But as you shine your light, you also make a difference to the lives and the people around you, your homes, your communities. And can you imagine if we all shone our lights, how light the world would be in sharing that? Because when you shine your light, you help others too to shine their lights.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. My next question is, what do you find rewarding about your work as an international speaker and author?
The most rewarding thing for me is seeing people have, transformation or insights when they hear me speak or tell my story. When it impacts them in a way, when they think, wow, that's actually, similar to me, or I've had feelings like that, and they understand that they can move from that and they can grow from that they don't have to stay stuck. That for me is the most incredible thing, is when people have those aha moments that they can change their lives, that they can shine their light, and they don't have to stay where they are. That for me is the most rewarding thing, when I know I'm impacting and changing lives, and the author as well with my book. When I know that people can just have a simple thing that they can just read and take simple steps to start moving forward. That's, that's why I wrote it. I want people to know that they don't have to stay stuck, that they can take small steps. And so for me, it's the impact and knowing that just from hearing what I'm saying, people know that they can change and they can grow and they can be who they want to be.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. How do you stay current in the ever evolving fields of modern and magical therapies?
Well, there's a couple of ways that I stay current. Um, I have communities that I'm part of, that I'm able to mastermind with other people that are doing things similar to me. But that's where I can find out sort of anything new that's going on. And I also have hosted a summit called Embrace the Woo, which is just all about learning about alternative therapies. And I truly believe that everyone heals differently. And so it's important that they are exposed to all the ways you can heal. That I have, what I do, I feel is really amazing and transformational. And I also know that there are other people doing other things that are amazing and transformational. And so I feel like we need to get more of that out into the world. And so I do that by sharing that through my summit. I'm having another summit coming up in September called Rise Up, which is just really sharing all of these ways to heal, whether it's modern, whether it's magical, whether it's traditional, alternative, complementary, whichever way. everyone heals differently, and they heal differently at different times. And so that's how I stay current, by just knowing and interacting and masterminding with people that um, that help people help people heal in different ways.
All right, my last question is, any advice for those struggling to find their life's passion or purpose?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that you are worthy. You are worthy to live a life of passion. You are worthy to live a life that you love. You don't have to do more. You don't have to be more. You don't have to have more, give more. You are worthy just as you are. So knowing that, that is the first thing, is really important. And really reminding yourself every day, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I find a lot of people feel like, I keep searching for my purpose, but I don't know what it is. And they keep searching out there for their purpose. And what I don't think that they understand is that their purpose is inside here. And that the journey that they're taking already, they're already living their purpose. That they don't have to put this heaviness on their shoulders, that they're not living their purpose, because they are already. As you grow and as you learn and as you heal, that is your purpose. Your soul's purpose is to learn, and to learn the things that it needs to do to evolve. So you are already living your purpose. Now it's time to understand that you're worthy to live a life that you love, that's full of passion. So start there. Start with, I am worthy. And then you can start taking the small steps to just find out what you love to do.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining. And as we come to the end of our enlightening conversation with Ms. Lesley Evans, it's clear that her journey is one of resilience, empowerment, and transformation. From her roots as a registered physiatric nurse therapist to her current status as an international speaker and best-selling author, Lessing story embodies the power of embarking change and embracing one's true potential. Miss Leslie, your dedication to blending modern and magical therapies has provided a unique path of individual to shed guilt, discover their passions, and lead inspired lives. Your insight into rising from ashes and shining light remind us all that no matter how challenging our circumstances, we have the power of rebuild ourselves and stronger and brighter. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Leslie for sharing your wisdom, experiences, and guiding principle with us today. Your work continues to touch lives and illuminate paths that lead to personal growth and empowerment. To our audience, thank you for joining us in this enriching conversation. Remember, just as Miss Leslie Evans has shown, every individual has potential to rise, to shine, and make a positive impact in the world. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. It was my honor.
Bye.
Bye.